I'll move to Sandeep. Sandeep has been associated with the Skill Council for Green Jobs and Renewable Energy for a very, very long time. In fact, let us see what he has to say about it.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sandeep Goyal, and before I get into my slides, I would like to tell you what I am skilled with. So basically, I'm a mechanical engineer, and this choice of skilling was not by my choice, which is typically for all engineers. Well, I had no clue what I will go to do in mechanical engineering, but my next friend who did studies with me said that I will go to mechanical engineer, so I said, okay, I will choose the same because then we will be together. And that's how I chose to be a mechanical engineer. But then, as was rightly pointed out, that reskilling is important. So after I completed my mechanical engineering, within 1 year, I thought this is not my cup of tea. And luckily, I had the chance to reskill myself. And I reskilled myself in my choice of profession, which is renewable energy at that point of time. And since then, 8 years, I am happy to be in this profession and will continue to do so. I represent here German Development Corporation, GIZ. Formerly, it was called GTZ. And it is a body, it is an arm of the German government, which is supporting many developing countries in their sustainable goals. Recently, Germany, everybody knows that it's a world leader in renewable energy, and it recently, let's say, the amount of renewable energy in their electricity mix has crossed the amount of coal-fired electricity. So the amount of renewable energy has surpassed the amount of thermal electricity. And Germany recently also announced that they will switch off all of their thermal power plants, all of their 84 thermal power plants within the next 19 years. And that's a plan, and they will be relying only on renewable energy going forward. So this is where this organization comes from, with the right kind of technical expertise for India. And you will be surprised to know that GIZ has been supporting India since 60 years already in many fields. And I would say the topic is absolutely right for today's workshop, the changing landscape. And indeed, the landscape is changing, especially for renewable energy. We have seen it changing in Germany when we had nuclear, we had thermal, and now we have 40% of electricity coming from renewable electricity. Well, there are many topics which are changing right now. When in 2010, the National Solar Mission was launched, the types of profession we had thought about was installers, managers, designers, O&M companies. But now we see that with the amount of electricity coming in from renewables, the roles are changing. Now we are talking about flexibilization of thermal power plants. We are talking about forecasting of generation. In fact, in Germany, you would not believe that even distribution companies are talking about forecasting of reactive power in their networks, and not only talking about active power of their networks. That is already being done, but now they are moving one step forward to talk about reactive power and how the grids are being congested by different forms of renewable, because there's bidirectional electricity flow. We're talking about storage, we are talking about digitalization, and GIZ is also, let's say, we are not focusing on first-time skilling, mainly in India. We are focusing on reskilling on all of these new topics, mainly working with Skill Council for Green Jobs, Power Sector Skill Council, also mainly with distribution companies and state nodal agencies. But again, we are also entering into a phase of electric vehicles, and of course this question of whether we are charging our vehicles from the grid, which is coming mainly from thermal power plants, is right or wrong. But I would say that we have two tasks. One is to convert our source of electricity for vehicle or mobility to electricity, and on the same side, simultaneously convert or make our grids more greener. Well, it is no doubt that renewable energy and electric vehicles are going to scale up massively. Government recently announced many different programs, and GIZ itself did some projections for renewable energy and demand for 2050. 47 using Niti Aayog's tool, and we found out that if India doesn't add 700 gigawatts of solar power by then, we are more switching to thermal power electricity because our demands are going to increase. And if we are switching to more conventional fossil fuel based electricity, then not only India has a problem, the world has a problem. And that's why India is being looked after by a lot of countries about our sustainable issues. Talking about digitalization, let's say we always say that the path of renewables is only in theories and it's not happening on ground, but this is just one example from Gujarat, where GIZ is supporting to develop a portal where consumers could apply online to a distribution company or the state node agency for a rooftop solar system. And this portal was live, and within 3 months, we got 34,000 applications. Imagine the amount of work which a distribution company has to do, all the paperwork, all the field inspections, etc. And therefore, they need these skilled manpower to handle all this. And this is only about solar rooftop, but this trend is going on. Last year it was 125 megawatt. This year the government is targeting 300 megawatts. So it's not only in theory, but it's also in practice that the amount of renewable energy in India is going to increase exponentially, and we would need skilled manpower for that. And one thing is quantity, and this is very well said that qualified people in India are not finding the right jobs, but the irony is that a lot of companies are also saying that they don't find the right qualified people. So somewhere there is a gap and mismatch, and GIZ is also supporting rooftop sector in a big way, also on quality issues, and we found out that many of the installations are also not done in a proper way. This is just one example of a picture, and can you say that this is done by a professionally trained electrician or an installer? No, and there are many such plants which are underperforming. So clearly we have to focus on quantity of skilling, but we have to also focus on quality of skilling. Coming from a German organization, I have an example of Germany, and especially the dual vocational education training methods in Germany, which is very popular and let's say very respected across many countries. So what is happening is basically 50% of people of the Germans which are entering into employment are coming through the vocational education training system. And the key is here that more than 400,000 companies are participating in these vocational education trainings. More than 300 training skills are identified and recognized by companies and industry associations. And all this is happening to make more and good quality and quantity of skilled workforce. And these skilling programs are not static. So industry associations, vocational training institutes are continuously updating, modifying their course material, their training methods to suit the ever-changing landscape of renewable energy or, let's say, industry in Germany. So I have a link also if later you want to know more about this. This is a very recognized vocational training program in Germany, and GIZ is also initiating a pilot in India based on this vocational education training program. So the idea is to get more participation from German and Indian companies where we could take few people who are trained through vocational education trainings and make more practical experience from them to choose their career paths and make it more sustainable. So this is a pilot which is going to start, and I'm very open to have ideas and thoughts later. This is what we have been doing mainly with Skill Council for Green Jobs. GIZ is running many different technical assistance programs for Government of India. And each technical assistance program is having a component of capacity building or skilling. This program was mainly addressed for solar rooftop, where we had different target stakeholders, mainly Surya Mitra, distribution companies, state nodal agencies and inspectors, and you will be surprised to know that the amount of inspectors required to inspect all the systems which we are going to build in this country is huge. And as I said, our focus is mainly to reskill. So our focus was to do as many as train the trainer programs. We got best in expertise from Germany, all trainers from Germany who train the trainers in India, so that we could increase and enhance the quality aspects in the trainings. Finally, I have my conclusion slide. Well, classroom education is good. But the success for good quality of education is once we make the trainees have more practical experience on the ground and make more on-the-job training. Second is that the participation of private sector and companies is much more important to have it happen. Otherwise, it will just become a 5-day, 10-day classroom program with, again, the same kind of results where people get trained in theory, but actually they lack practical skills. And again, continuous modification of training curriculum and training methods is very important to be successful in skilling. And thank you so much.